London Real, sponsored by Bulletproof Coffee. To the young 20-year-old listening to this now, who wants to be like Stuart one day, or wants to make films, what do you tell them?
Get out there and practice, practice, practice. I went to university. I don't regret that experience. It cost me a lot less than it would cost somebody now. It taught me an awful lot, but mainly about girls and football and how to drink. It didn't really teach me an awful lot about the filmmaking process. So whether you still want to go or not, get yourself a Canon 7D for Christmas or a 60D for a few £100. Get out there and start making projects, because the more you make them, the better you'll get at it. And that's going to be your stepping stone. I think there's probably an awful lot more to be gained from going and working part-time or interning at a production company for a low pay than there is going to university. That's just because it's vocational, and unfortunately that's just the simple facts of the matter, that a lot of universities just aren't able to offer you real experience in what it's going to be like to try and make it in the industry. And you know why? Because a lot of those departments are led by people who've never even worked in the industry.
Yeah, those who can't do teach.
Yeah.
Sometimes, that is. Why are they there? Because they're not in the biz. And what do you say to all the people who want people in film to work for free? They want photographers and filmmakers to work for free, or you're going to be on this project for free. And then some people, a lot lately, photographers put their foot down and say, "I'm not going to be one of those guys." What's your stance on that?
It's always like, how long is a piece of string? When do you get to the point where you stop working for free? I would say to young guys who are enthusiastic, definitely work for free. I'd say do it on a case-by-case basis. Don't just go and offer to work for free for anyone. Check out somebody's work, and if you really like it and you want to work with that person, then offer your services for free, because you know what? If you're not going to, lots of other people are. But I'm fair with the guys I work with. Like, I work with young guys. I'm, of a certain age now where I don't always want to be carrying 100 kilos of camera kit around London. I'll pay them. I'm happy to pay them. I'll pay them when I've got a job coming in. If my client's paying me, I'll have a bit of budget set aside for me to get some assistance. So when do you get to the point where you place a value on what you're worth? Everybody needs to have that stage where you feel comfortable enough. Right now, I don't offer my services as a professional stills photographer. I can get images that are just as good as a professional stills photographer. It just takes me a little bit longer, because I'm used to shooting for film. The setup's slightly separate. There'll come a point where, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore, and I'm going to add that to my roster of skills under my production company. So I think that it's inevitable, and you need to do it. There'll be a stage where you're expected to go out and work for free for a little bit. But I'm talking young guys who are either pre-university. I work with kids who are from the Prince's Trust as well, and they're offering to work for free on building sites. I'm like, come and learn about cameras. Come and work with me on that. It's going to be you're going to have more fun. And they love the experience because every job's different, and often it's really cool projects for young guys to be working on. So they're happy to do it. But I'm not going to make somebody come and carry my kit for me more than 2 or 3 times, where I'm going to say, all right, I'll give you 100 quid a day. Or you're operating a second camera, right? I'll give you 150 quid a day, 200 quid a day. And anybody who's fair, I think, would probably adopt that approach. The government's obviously implemented the system now that we can take on unpaid work, and I think sometimes inevitably it is exploited, but it's also there for a reason. It's actually there for companies like mine, small-time companies who are looking to grow and get bigger and need some help, but need flexibility in the workforce.
Fair enough. Colin, you know this guy better than I do. What did I miss?
Yeah, maybe a question that I don't even know if I know the answer to, but were you, as a kid growing up, were you always like, I'm creative, I like sort of filming stuff, or I like taking pictures, or I like writing stories, or were you that growing up, and you always knew this is what you wanted to do?
I've always writing. I've always written since I was very, very young, and actually originally I trained as an actor, and that's what I wanted to be, and I studied acting at university. But almost immediately then I got that opportunity to go to acting school in the States and do a 3-year MFA and become an actor, or take this small amount of money, this 10 grand that some guy had offered to give me, and go and make a documentary. And I always wondered what would have happened if I'd gone down that other route in life, because that's the one thing I miss doing passionately. But I wasn't willing to just do what an awful lot of my friends had to go through to become actors, and just working on terrible script after script after script. And I think to some extent, I think they were more easily able to do it because they were like, well, it's work. And for me, I've always written, so when I read something and it's terrible, I can't get excited about it. So I got into the mind frame that I was going to go and make my own films, and I was just going to take, I was going to do a Tarantino and put myself in them. And I still want to do that.
This week, London Real meets UFC fighter Dan Hardy.
I'm not an athlete, I'm a fighter that's trying to be a martial artist.
His wins and his losses.
That's it, I'm done. I'm not enjoying it anymore. This is not fun for me anymore. I'm not getting anything out of it, I'm just getting damaged.
He talks the spirit world.
The thing is, like, ayahuasca doesn't necessarily do anything to change the person. It just helps the person understand who they are.
And introduces the wolf heart.
They want to feed the wires into my heart so they can measure the second heartbeat. So they can then burn it.
This Sunday, London Real presents Dan Hardy, Uncut.
Every subject's on the table, so feel free to ask away.